Hello, been a while. I'm doing a boss ranking. This time, I did Demon Souls with my friend before, and this time I'm gonna do the Dark Souls 1 bosses. It's just me this time, since this is my favorite From Software game. I wanted to sort of rank them purely on my own opinions. If you haven't seen the Demon Souls video, that explains how I basically rank and critique these bosses, but for those who haven't, I rank them on a sort of number of things, mainly the actual boss itself, like is it a good boss mechanically, or is it interesting or fun to fight? Is the lore interesting? Do they have good music? Is the arena interesting? All that kind of, and of course my own personal opinions, that all kind of takes into account when I rank these bosses. And I'm probably just going to go in order, and starting with the Four Kings here. The Four Kings are kind of interesting. It's funny how there can be more than four kings. They're a pretty cool boss. I like their design a lot. I like the whole lore around New Londo, and basically they're about as close of a representation to like siding with the dark as we're gonna get, apart from the dark rates, like as a boss, I guess. Because the witches and the demons aren't really siding with dark. They're chaos, they're their own thing. But as a fight, it has its problems. I really have issue with like depth perception, since it's just a black room. I love the concept of the abyss, but I really do have trouble gauging where I am, and it can make me feel like a little bit sickly. I don't know why. But apart from that, it's an alright boss, and I'm gonna put it in B, because I think it's fine. It's not amazing, but it's not, you know, mediocre or bad. It's like D's horrible, C's it's okay, B's that's fine, A's really good. No, B's pretty good, A's really good, and S is like mwah, the best. And speaking of, we've got the Gaping Dragon, and I'm gonna put him at a C. Pretty easy decision to make for me there. Again, his design's really cool, and kind of funny. I like how he's just a hungry boy, and that's his lore pretty much. But the fight's really, he does have some sick music. The theme for the Gaping Dragon's really good. But he's really easy, especially if you cut off his tail. Like, that limits the amount of attacks he can do. You can't do his tail attack anymore. So I'm gonna put it as C, because it's not bad. It's not a bad boss, but it's nothing totally special either. And now we have Sif, the Great Grey Wolf. Where do I want to put Sif? I think it probably is an A, but my heart says S. Like, the theme is really cool. Sif protecting Artorius' grave and protecting sort of the secrets of traversing the abyss, because she saw what it did to Artorius, and she doesn't want other people to suffer the same way as he did. And it's a fight that makes you feel like pure shit. The two cutscenes, I feel like a lot of thought went into this boss. A lot of thought, love, and care went into this boss. And it's definitely not the best in terms of purely a fight, and just a pure fight, but it is really good. It accomplishes what it wants to do really well, and for that I've got to put it in S. And Gwen, the final boss here. I think I'm going to save Gwen till last, actually. And we'll go with the Iron Golem here. I don't know where I want to put Iron Golem. It's like a C or a B. What is the Iron Golem? Like, he's okay as a boss. I like him. I like the fight, but it's pretty much a fight between him and Tarkus if you summon Tarkus. But I do like that you can choose to either whittle it down or take the kind of more easier way out and just push it off the cliff. I'm gonna put him in C. I'm gonna put him in the top of C. He has a couple of interesting moves. I like the wind projectiles he has, that I often forget that he has them actually in the fight. But I don't know, I've just never really been too big on the Iron Golem. So I'm gonna put him as a C. I like him more than the Gaping Dragon personally, but I don't like him that much more. And the Moonlight Butterfly. I kind of touched upon this in my Dark Souls video, but I'm really not a fan of the Moonlight Butterfly. the only thing I really like about the Moonlight Butterfly is the music, which I'll talk about because later, because it shares the same music as another boss on this list. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of the Moonlight Butterfly. I'm gonna put in D, actually. It's one of the very, very, very few bosses in Dark Souls where, like, you feel advantaged or disadvantaged depending on the build that you go for, and I really don't like that. Like, if you're a melee-only build, like I tend to go with, it's a game of avoid projectiles, whack it when it goes to feed on some grass. But if you have projectiles, if you have Artorius spells or something, then I guess it'll be a little bit more fun of a back and forth. But still, it's not really very impressive, so I'm gonna put in D. Not really a fan. Gravelord Nito. I really, really want to put Nito on S. I love Nito's design. I love his lore on the First of the Dead. I love the design of his area, especially the bit leading up to it with all the skeletons, like in a worshipping position. But the one thing that really puts Nito out of an S is the damage you have to take to get to his arena. That really annoys me. And it's a good chunk of damage too. It's like I'd say maybe a quarter, depending on how you sort of allocate your stats. A quarter to half of your health can just be gone by going into the arena, and I'm really, really not a fan of that. And if you're really, really unfair, I remember when we were recording for my Dark Souls video, my friend went into the arena quite low on health, and he didn't die from the impact, but he jumped down, and then Nito immediately used the projectile and killed him instantly, like the sword from the ground. And I suppose you could argue, well, they should have healed before you jumped down to the ground, but still, I think being able to be in a position like that is just bad design, because you have to take damage. That's not your fault. And only because of that, I'm putting Nito in A. I still really like him. I still think he's really interesting. I like how you have to have a divine weapon to actually arm him. I think that's also a really cool little detail. But like I say, just that pit. You were so close to S, Nito. I'm gonna save Ornstein and Smo as well, because they're pretty big ones. Pinwheel. So I said this in the video as well. I really, really like Pinwheel. I think I love his design. Again, the whole 3 bodies conjoined into this cloth and the 3 masks that represents it. I really like the idea of it being a father trying to bring back his wife and child, and being sort of consumed in his research. His theme is sick. It's one of my favorite themes in the OST. It's very... Pinwheel feels very Demon Souls-esque, and that's probably why I like him so much. He feels the most Demon Souls type boss out of all of them, I feel, and that's probably because he is basically the Fool's Idol. Like, it's the same concept of duping into clones and firing projectile spells, but he is a joke. He is an absolute joke. You will melt his health bar in like 4 hits. See, I don't know. No, I'm not putting him in D. I don't know. I feel like Pinwheel isn't horrible enough to be in D. I don't, because I like him. I don't dislike him like I dislike the Moonlight Butterfly. But he is a bad boss. But I do like him more than the Iron Golem and Gaping Dragon, so I'm going to put him at the top of C. That's where I'm putting Pinwheel. And we have Seath the Scaleless here. A very, very interesting character again. His whole pursuit of immortality. I'd love to see more in-depth stuff on Seath's backstory, especially like in the intro cutscene, where you see him like screaming over the corpses of all the dragons. Like, because that could be taken in 2 ways for me. It could be either like a kind of I regret what I've done, but there's no turning back, or like he betrayed all of everything he ever knew because he thought he was going to get immortality from dragon scales, and in the end he got nothing. And he's like screaming out of frustration, which I kind of want to take it as that. His area is really pretty. I love the design of the crystal caves. Traversing it is a different story, but purely from a design perspective, I love the crystal caves a lot. But he, in and of himself as a boss, isn't that great. He's just crystals, or bashing you with his tentacles that he has. He's not horrible, but I'm gonna put him in B. I don't think he's better than the Four Kings, but I like him enough to be like, yeah, he's pretty good. And also you get the Moonlight Greatsword from him, so that's also a plus. And we have the Asylum Demon here. Now, the Asylum Demon is really tricky to rank for me because he is an excellent tutorial. He is a brilliant, brilliant tutorial. But he isn't a great boss. Like, it's literally just get behind him, smack his dummy thick dump truck till he dies, and occasionally back off a little bit when he does his jump and move. But he is an excellent, excellent first boss. He's really, really important in that. I feel like he has to be really easy. Otherwise, people would just be like, no, I'm not playing this game, it's bullshit. Because it's there to show, even though something looks incredibly threatening and imposing, it can be overcome with enough perseverance and effort. And that's something like a really positive message that I really like that kind of comes from Dark Souls. But like I say, as a boss, he's not the greatest thing in the world. I'm going to put him at the top of B. He does what he sets out to do very, very well, but I don't enjoy him as a fight more than anything else here. But I am going to put him at the top of B because he is such a good tutorial boss. And now we have the Taurus Demon here, and this is a boss that I am going to put an A. I really, really like the Taurus Demon a lot. Again, I feel like he's a very tutorial-y kind of boss, but it tests you in more ways than Asylum Demon does. It tests your spatial awareness with the two skeletons with the crossbows at the top of the tower, and you can kill him in a variety of ways. You can use the golden pine resin to just melt his health bar. You can keep doing plunging attacks, or you can fight him head on, or get him to kill himself off the little space on the bridge. This fight is all about situational awareness, or spatial awareness, I think. And I really, really love the Taurus Demon for that, and his design's sick. I love his design. I think it's really, really cool. So yeah, I'm going to put him at the... I don't like him more than Nito, but I do like him enough to put him in A. I think he's a really cool fight. Better Chaos is D. Easy. I might make my own... I'm really tempted to make my own tier for the Better Chaos. This is the worst fight in the game. I do know what they were thinking. I do not know what they were thinking at all. I guess it was one of those things where it was too important for the lore for it to be cut. But really, I wish it was cut. I hate the Better Chaos. It's horrible. Platforming doesn't really work in Souls, in my opinion, especially where it's like you have to do it right or it's an instant death, and sometimes you don't have any control over it. It's RNG. If you're lucky, you might not die. If you're unlucky, which you tend to be more often than not, it'll just sweep you right in, and you're gone. Who is next? So I want to save the DLC bosses as well. I want to talk about them just yet. Let's talk about the Stray Demon. Let's go with the Stray Demon. This is just a reskin of the Asylum Demon with an AoE spell, and I said in my video that I didn't really mind it, and that is true. I don't mind it personally because it is in an optional area. So it's more or less there as just a cheeky little bonus, as an extra one boss that they squeezed in. And I'm personally okay with that. I'm personally fine with that. But I don't like it more than the Asylum Demon. I'm going to put it at the bottom of C. I don't mind it. I think it's a fine enough boss. But it is just a reskin, and it's not really that interesting. I don't really have much to say on it, apart from I think it belongs in C. And let's talk about the Bell Gargoyles. I couldn't remember if it was the Bell 3 Gargoyles or the Bell Gargoyles, because one of them's Dark Souls 1, one of them's Dark Souls 2. I like these a lot. I think they're the first real boss that you fight, and they fit that bill really, really well. They're not too difficult, but they are challenging. They are very, very challenging, especially like your first time through. And I think they introduced the concept of like multiple enemies as a boss fight really, really well. Especially how they have one on half health, and it only comes in after a certain amount of time of you starting the fight. So it feels very, very fair. And I just love the setting of you fighting on a roof. I don't think you'll ever really fall off the roof, honestly, but it is a little bit more risky than any of the other areas you fought a boss in, so I appreciate that. So I'm going to put him in A. I do like him more than the Taurus Demon, but not more than Nido, so he's going in A. The Capra Demon. I don't know where to put the Capra Demon, to be honest, because he himself, I actually like quite a lot. He's a lot more humanoid-sized. He's a lot more different than any of the other bosses you've fought so far. And that's mainly because he is so aggressive. He is super, super aggressive. And I think that, with the very compact arena, makes for a good fight. However, a very, very big however, he has those two fucking dogs. And they make the fight horrible. Like, I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to put the dogs there. They really, really do ruin the fight. I feel like him in that cramped arena is a fine enough challenge, especially for a first-time player. Like, it's a fine place for him to be in, a fine challenge. Those two dogs make the fight go from challenging but fair to bullshit. So I don't know where to put the Capra Demon. I kind of want to put him in C, because like I say, I think he, in a vacuum, is fine. But the dogs in combination with the arena, sorry, makes it horrible. Well, actually, I'm going to put him at the bottom of C. Like I say, especially since you do fight other Capra Demons in Lost Isolate, I think that proves he's fine. You are bordering on D, mister, so you better watch your behavior. Next boss. I think this is Ceaseless Discharge. I think that's him. Ceaseless Discharge is also quite tough for me to rank because he is a joke, but that's kind of the point. Like, you don't have to fight him. No, sorry, you don't have to do the cheese kill. You can fight him normally. But I feel like he's not designed to be fought normally because he just has these really badly telegraphed, like, attacks, like physical attacks, and he just has an AoE that can just melt your health bar, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I'm gonna put him at the top of D. He's not great, but he's intentionally shitty, in my opinion. I feel like he is done intentionally shit, because, like, in the lore, he's always, I think he is called, like, quite stupid or unintelligent in the actual lore. And the only really comfort he has in is, like, he has a pretty horrible, pathetic kind of life. And, oh yeah, it did say due to his, like, clumsiness or something, he dropped the ring that was going to stop him from, like, this agony that he goes through every waking moment. So I think it's kind of the point that he just is kind of stupid and jumps at you. But still, he's a bad boss, and that's why he's going in D. The Centipede Demon. I do not like the Centipede Demon. Again, I feel like it has the same problem that Leechmonger does in Demon Souls, where its attacks are very flaily and not very, like, nicely telegraphed. And the fact that you can fight him, I mean, as I've shown in my video, you can fight him in one go. But I feel like it wants you to die to him, but get the orange charred ring so you can walk on lava. And like I said in my video, I think that's a really, really bad choice design-wise. I feel like it should have been on that corpse in the little safe space that you get to fight him, instead of on the actual boss. I feel like that was a really missed opportunity, so I'm going to put him in C. Bottom of C, I don't like him, but that's just me. Quail Egg is here. Quail Egg's also a bit of a tricky one for me, because I like Quail Egg. I think Quail Egg's design's cool, I love her lore, but I find the actual fight quite difficult. And that's kind of the point, she's the second Bell Guardian, so she's meant to be quite a challenging fight. But I always have quite a bit of trouble with Quail Egg. So I don't know what it is, she's just really hard for me, but I do recognize that she's a good boss. She is a good boss. So for that, I think she's really B or A tier, but I'm not quite sure. Because this is also, like I say, my personal enjoyment is also taken into account with these here. So I think I'm going to put her... I don't know whether I'll put her atop of the Asylum Demon, because I think she's a better boss than the Asylum Demon, but I enjoyed the fight with the Asylum Demon more. And I feel like he sets out what he needs to do as a tutorial really well, like I said. Or I don't know whether I'll put her at the bottom of A, because she is a good fight. I'm going to put her at the top of B. I'm going to put the top of B. She is a good fight. I'm just personally not that much of a fan. But I recognize that that's more of a me thing, and that she is a really good boss. The Demon Fire Sage is here. I like him even less than the Stray Demon, so I'm putting him bottom of C, like no question. I feel like this is where it gets really lazy. Like the Stray Demon was an optional thing, so that's fine. Technically the Demon Fire Sage is optional, but most people are going to fight him on their first playthrough. So he's more or less mandatory to go through the normal route. But I feel like this is really where it gets to like kind of lazy. It's just the Asylum Demon with a fire texture and a fiery... does he even have a fiery AoE, or did he use the same spell effect as the Stray Demon? I don't remember. By the way, I don't like him, so he's at the bottom of... Actually, no. I like him more than the Centipede Demon. I'll give him that. I do like fighting him more than I like fighting the Centipede Demon. But still, I'm not really a fan of him. At least the Centipede Demon's original. I just really don't like him. So he's going in C as well. Gwendolin. Gwendolin, in my opinion, is a real missed opportunity. Because he is one of the sons of Gwen. He is... And they kind of just make his fight just a corridor where he just spams projectiles at you. Now, I get it wouldn't make sense for Gwendolin to be more of a physical fighter, considering the whole thing is, like, they are frail physically. But, obviously they're a god, and they draw power from the moon, so their like, spells are their greatest asset, and I get that. But I feel like they could have made it more interesting than the Super Mario 64 corridor. The do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, while he just spams projectiles. So it's a real shame. But I like the fight that you get to... I like the fact that you get to fight with one of the Sons of Gwen. I think that's really cool. And I think Gwendolin is a really interesting character. Very morally grey, I feel like, because he and Fram perpetuate the whole lie about the Curse of the Undead. I feel like him and Fram definitely had something to do with it. Whether they're like, Gwendolin made up the prophecy of the Chosen Undead, and Fram to like spread it around, maybe. Those two are definitely in it on something. But like I said in my video, I'm thankful that it's like more of an experimental fight, but seen as an experiment, it might not really be great. So for better or worse, I'm really glad that it's in the game. I'm gonna put Gwendolin in the bottom of B. I don't hate the fight. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's amazing, but I do like it, and I also really like that the theme, like I say, shares that with the Moonlight Butterfly. I do attribute it more to Gwendolin than the Moonlight Butterfly, even though I hear it from the Moonlight Butterfly first. But it has some very interesting implications with like the relationship with Gwendolin and Seath, I feel like. Next boss. Who's the next boss? Priscilla. Let's go with Priscilla. I really like Priscilla. She's going at the top of A. Priscilla is a really cool optional fight. Again, it's one of those that make you feel kind of bad for fighting her, because she just wants you to leave. She's like, hey, this is my pad. You don't belong here. Go away. And then you can go away, or you can hit her. I really do want to see a build of Dark Souls where Priscilla is like one of the main characters, like she was originally intended to be. So I think there's a lot of mystique around her character that I really like. The Painted World is probably my favorite area. It's either that or Anolondo, I think. I really like the Painted World, though. It's a really good area. It's definitely one of my favorites. I'm not sure if it's my absolute favorite, but it is one of my favorites. But I really love Priscilla. So I'm putting her... I think she has an interesting gimmick of her being invisible and you have to look for her footprints in the snow. I love her scythe. The Life Hunt scythe's a really cool thing. And just like I say, she's really cool. Her backstory about being a crossbreed and a threat to the gods, so either she was trapped in here or she escaped to it. I feel like she probably escaped to it rather than was trapped. She doesn't seem very outwardly malicious. She was probably just treated really badly, and she was like, oh, well, fuck this, I'm gonna live in a painting now, bye-bye. So that also, to me, airs some sympathy for her. So I'm putting her in A. I don't think she has that special sauce to put her in S, personally. But she is very close, so I'm putting her at A. Who does have that special sauce, though, is Ornstein and Smole. Easy S. They are probably the most iconic boss fight in Dark Souls. Probably. Dark Souls 1, anyway. I feel like him and Gwen are them and Gwen, rather, are probably the most iconic. Their theme is absolutely amazing, also very iconic. And they're a really, really good test of, like, micromanaging. Like, Ornstein's fast, and likes to sort of close in on you real quick, but you can use the pillars to kind of break up their aggro, and Smo's a lot slower, but obviously he hits quite harder. But so you can either, like, go for Ornstein, keep, like, Smo away and just, like, chip away at Ornstein, or you can hide behind Smo's fast and, you know, hammer away at him. Haha. Because he has a hammer. And just the backstory of them is really interesting. Ornstein being, like, probably the is he the captain? I feel like if anyone's the captain, it would be Hawkeye Go, but that's a discussion for another day. But he is believed to be the captain of the Four Knights. He's like the last one standing, basically. And Smo being this absolute degenerate who eats the bones of his victims, like, that he executes, and being a creepy baby man. And because of that, Gwen was like, you're not being a knight, you're a fucking troglodyte, get out of here. Yeah, so all that's really interesting. Yes, I like them more than Sif, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm putting them at the top of S. They are the best so far. They're the poster children of Dark Souls bosses for a reason. They're going tip-top of S. Before we talk about Gwen, I'm going to talk about the DLC bosses, these last four here. So I'm going to talk about them in order. The Sanctuary Guardian. Where do I want to put him? Because he is very interesting, especially from a design perspective. He's very different from any of the other bosses in Dark Souls 1. Really, in the Souls games in general, I can't think of a boss that looks quite like him. And that really does make him stand out. I feel like if he didn't have that really unique design, he wouldn't stand out as much. And he just has so many ways that you can kill you. He's very, very aggressive. And he has so many ways he can kill you. He can stun you, he can, like, fly into you, he has, like, physical swipes, he has lightning, and he has poison if you go to his tail. He has so many different ways he can attack you. Which makes the fight really varied and interesting, because he always has a way of getting damage in. And he just makes a really, really good first impression for the DLC, because you go in and you straight to him, like, straight away, no bullshit, no messing about, straight at him. So he makes a really good first impression. So I'm gonna put him in A. I don't like him more than Nido, but I like him more than the Gargoyles, so he's going in the middle of A. Artorius, S, easy. Easy. He is the closest you get to, like, a one-on-one duel with a swordsman. And, again, theme, bop. I feel like if Ornstein and Smo aren't the poster children for Dark Souls bosses, Artorius is. Like, he is the quintessential, like, special source Dark Souls boss. He, again, lore's really interesting. I talked about it a little bit when I talked about with Sif, but he as a character is just very interesting. Throughout the whole game, you've heard legends about, like, this great noble knight that really cares about the people. And then when you get to him, you're literally a few seconds too late. He's a shell of his former self now, and you have to put him without his misery. The guts imagery that he gives off, as a big Berserk fan, big fan of that. especially in like the promotional material. The one where he's like, I think it's when he's like just shrouded in black and he's got the sword on his back and he's kind of looking back to the camera. That's very reminiscent of a Berserk volume cover that I really like of Guts in the Berserker armor. I don't like him more than... Do I like him more than Ornstein? So I definitely like him more than Sif as a boss fight. So he's going there at least. But do I like him more than Ornstein and Smo? I feel like I do. I feel like I do like him more than Ornstein and Smo. Yeah, Artorius is, as of now, the tip top of S. He's really cool. I love him. I'll talk about Calamity next because he is technically an optional boss. But really, I think you should fight him. He is, in my opinion... Again, I have played all of the Dark Souls games, but I haven't... The last time I played Dark Souls 2 and 3 was like 2018, I want to say. But as far as I can remember, he is probably my favorite dragon boss ever put in a Souls game. Like, the dragons in Dark Souls 2, I don't really like, apart from Sin. I think he's pretty cool. But I remember he can degrade your weapons really quick, if I remember right, and that was really annoying. And I don't remember being a big fan of Medea. I'm really excited to see how my opinion changes when I play that again. But I remember not liking Medea when I played it. But yeah, Calamity is my favorite dragon boss in the Soul series right now, I want to say. His design's absolutely amazing. He feels like an intelligent beast. He feels like he adapts to what you do, and like how it's his fight is so interesting because like the Sanctuary Guardian, he has so many ways of being able to attack you. He also has a stun move that actually doubles the amount of damage you take if you get hit by it. He's got the wing flap move, he's got the fire, he's got flight, he's got swiping you with his claws, he's got tail bashing. It really is a really nice back and forth between him and you. Do I think... I definitely think he's A material. Do I think he's S? Does he have that special sauce? I want to say he does. Yeah, I'm putting him in the... I don't like him more than any of the other bosses in S, but I really, really like Calamity. Like I say, he's my favorite dragon boss in the Soul series as of now. His design's amazing. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is the music. I don't think the music from him's that bad. I just don't think it's that memorable. That's the only thing really I can really say bad about him. But apart from that, amazing boss. Nothing to complain about S tier. And now we have Manus, Father of the Abyss. Manus is also a really, really cool boss fight. They really, really were saving like their special sauce for all the boss fights in the Artorius the Abyss DLC. Manus is really, really cool. He's a lot more... I don't want to say he's... Because a lot of the bosses, especially the big ones, are physical, like, swipe, punchy boys. But Manus feels like it was really designed around that. Like, he has an 8-hit combo he can get you with. He's got the darkness spells that you can either repel with the pendant that I totally forgot about until after making my Dark Souls video. Or you can just, like, dodge roll through like I did, which I don't think you're supposed to do. But I managed to do it. But he's really cool, and you can summon Baby Sif to help fight Manus, which is also really cute. Manus is a really, really good fight. I like him more than Calamity. I'm putting Manus in S. I really, really like Manus. I like him more than Calamity. I don't think I like him more than Sif, but he is really cool. I still think I'm pretty sure it's been categorically disproven by now. I still really like the idea of him being the furtive pygmy. I really, really like the idea, and I wish it stayed that way for the Ring City retconda, I think. But he was definitely there. He was one of the first fellas. I'm sure he was. Can't take that away from me. But in my mind, he'll always be the furtive pygmy. So it's cool that you get to... Because that was the one lord that was missing. So it really did feel like, at the time... They were rounding everything together, but we're like, oh, this is the one thing that you didn't get to fight out the intro sequence. So let's, put him in. So that makes sense to me. So he's in S. I love him. And finally, Gwen. Plin, plin, plon, man. Gwen is also S. Like, easy. He is... Off the top of my head, I want to say he's also my favorite end fight to a Souls game. Off the top of my head. I remember really liking German, but I haven't played Bloodborne since like 2018. And also, the Solar Cinder is a really, really impressive fight. But I feel like part of it being so impressive is that second phase, and you've got Gwen to thank for that. The only problem with Gwen is obviously he can be very, very easily parried and cheesed by parrying, which I don't really want to say is a problem, because it's like, you got good at that skill, you got good at parrying, you get rewarded for that by having an easier time with this boss. But if you don't parry, he's still super... even if you do parry, he can still catch you out, I feel like. If you do parry. If you don't, then he's, again, super aggressive. The fight is so atmospheric. That theme, again, iconic. Basically represents the Soul series, Gwen's theme. Like, I'm pretty sure if you got someone who hadn't played the games but, like, knew of Dark Souls and played them this theme, they'd be like, oh, that's Gwen's theme, or it's the Plim Plim Plon song. Right, it's pretty iconic. I don't think, because of his, like, cheesiness, I can't put him at the top of S, but he is definitely comfortable in the middle there. So this is where I'm going to put him. So to cap everything off, we've got the Bed of Chaos as the worst fight in the game. Obviously. The Moonlight Butterfly and Ceaseless Discharge in D tier. D for Discharge. C, we've got the Centipede Demon, the Demon Fire Sage, the Capra Demon, the Stray Demon, the Gaping Dragon, the Iron Golem, and Pinwheel at C tier. B, we've got Gwendolin, Seath, the Four Kings, the Asylum Demon, and Quail Egg. And A, we've got the Taurus Demon, the Bell Gargoyles, the Sanctuary Guardian, Nito, and Priscilla. And in S, we've got Calamity, Manus, Sif, Gwen, Ornstein and Smo, and to top it all off, Artorius is the best boss in the game. You go, girl. What a king, what a queen, wow, wow, wow. And that's the end of the video. This was fun to kind of do on my own. I'm hoping to get someone in, just to kind of let you guys know what's going on. I'm working on a Dark Souls 2 video. I don't know how long that's going to take me, but when I get to Dark Souls 2 boss rankings and every other FromSoft game, because I will eventually cover them all. I don't know how long it'll take, but I will eventually. I'm hoping to get other people in, they're my friends, to help with these tier list videos. But for Dark Souls 1, because I love it so much, I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to do it on my own. But thank you for watching, and please tell me, you know, what you thought. What bosses do you really like personally? What bosses do you like? Is there anything I said rather that you disagree with? I just want to know your guys' opinions on the Dark Souls bosses, because they're probably the most fun topic to discuss in the game. So let me all know in the comments. If you like the video, then a like would be pretty cool, and if you want to see more stuff from me, then subscribe, it's free. And if you don't want to, you don't have to, and you can unsub anytime. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video that I make. Bye bye.